Imagine this. At the scene, we have Niji Fest 2026, a fresh 3-day convention focused solely on Yaoi and Yuri, the seemingly perfect venue for a small pink-haired 5-foot Fujo artist with no experience to start their tabling career. Will they flop in ways never seen before, or obliterate the fruit-vention stratosphere? Keep watching to find out. So, hey, it's Space again. I wanted to take you guys on my journey tabling at Niji Fest, which is a really new convention, this being their first year being legit. So I was really excited to see how I would do, and as a person who is very self-indulgent with my OCs and draws BL, it seemed like the perfect venue for me. But I was also kind of scared if the average crowd would be interested in things other than fan art. But as a person who frequents artist alleys, I was really inspired and wanted to know if I can make this a part of my career and hopefully survive off of my own art too. So if you're also someone curious to get into artist alley, I will have all my stats and how I did at the end of the video. And if not, I hope my pain is good background noise for your drawing session or chores. Okay, first I knew I needed to get some sort of display system, so I bought the cubes from Amazon, and it's really the most basic setup, but I was trying to play it safe. I also drafted up a sketch of what I wanted things to look like, with the few prints that I thought had buying potential, and then I put something together based off the table being 6 feet wide. Okay, day 2 updates. I moved to a different room, and I tried to do some different setups. So I had this mesh rack from Daiso, and I wanted to see if the keychains looked better. But in comparison between this and this, which I also tested out, I asked my sister and she said this one is a bit more clean, so probably gonna go with that. And then I also bought this acrylic rack, and I saw a tip from a reel that said to get what is this? This is like a trading card holder specifically, and it's better than the regular holders because the pockets are a lot deeper, so I guess it's easier to see things. But honestly, I'm just putting these up right now, and I mean, you can get a good idea of the print, but it's definitely not as visible. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. I see a lot of people use things like this, and as a buyer in the artist alley, I do recognize that these don't really show off your prints in the best way. Okay, so this is what it looks like. I think that's pretty clean, but okay, I have another thing to share, but I'm hesitant because every time I share a mistake or a miscalculation, I'm not sure if that makes me more human or makes me look more stupid. But I have this one print, and as you can see, it is a postcard. However, it is slightly big, and it just occurred to me during the printing process that there are oversized postcards and regular ones. So these are 4x6, and this is a 5x7. And I only have one of these. My problem is, I worry that there might be too much price variation amongst my sizes because there's not a lot of consistency. I have the tabloid sizes at least, but there's this letter size and this whatever size, and then I also have the square prints as well. So hopefully people degaff. So I actually did make a few things solely for this convention. One being the Genshin charms, and 2, the infamous Hasuna charm. And infamous because, well, if you look at it, you can't really see anything through. I wanted it to be slightly transparent because I thought it would be somewhat cool, and in the Wuokrai mock-up, it didn't look that dark. But when it came at my doorstep, I fully crashed out, to say the least. I was so distraught. And you see here, I was trying to put it up to the sun just to see what it looks like, and it really is pretty when there's light. But I just don't think it can survive as a keychain if people were gonna put it on their bags or something like that. So yeah, kind of sad. It really did drive me off the wall. Like I had to calm down and play some Genshin Impact. Well, I was already playing it, but I got Barca though, by the way. Look at him. Oh my god. But yeah, there was actually another critical error of this design, which is the fact that the loop for the charm doesn't fit through, so you can't actually loop anything. It's like not usable at all, guys. Oh my god. So I had to buy some keychains from Daiso, and I manually had to change each one, but there were only 4 at the store, so I only made 4 to sell. And then I also added these leaf charms I found, hoping it could distract people. I think next time it really helps to measure things in person or have some sort of prototype so you can expect or have an idea of what you could expect, because the sizing for my Genshin charms also did not end up being so consistent, but it was more passable than the Hasna charm at least. So it's currently Wednesday and the extra prints I ordered arrived. There's 2 days left before the convention, so I'm glad it came in time. I also ordered some business cards from Moo, and these are from Catprint. I think both of these companies are pretty good. I always use Catprint for my larger prints, but they recently upped the prices just by like a few cents, so I don't know if they're the cheapest anymore, but they're still not bad. And then for Moo, it's my first time getting them, but the print quality is pretty good. So I'm interjecting to say these business cards were low-key a waste of money just because the quality was too good for something that so many people just like grab on a whim. And I was told by another artist that I really should just like print them at home. Like she told me that the quality was too nice. This is just like a personal thing. I probably should have used a different line art pen because in person it doesn't look as crisp as I would have liked, but I still think it turned out pretty good. So with my setup finally done after 5 days, looking slightly decent, I was ready for day 1 of Niji Fest. So me and my sister arrive at the convention, my hair freshly dyed pink, looking like Pinkie Pie, which I did not intend. And I'm already extremely nervous because everybody around me has such gorgeous art and I have my gay little OCs lining my table. However, we pushed through and my sister brought some food for us, including boba, which I really did need. So our lunch break, it's day 1. I made 3 sandwiches. How many hours in are we? It's almost 2:30. It's almost 2:30. So let's just say it's 3.5 hours. It's been 3.5 hours. But I have to say something else. Who knows? Maybe we'll come back swinging. Maybe this will be the flop of the century. I honestly don't think they're gonna be able to hear me. That's okay. I'll put like a little voice. They're gonna be like, what? Subtitles right here. Yeah. End of day 1. Neither of us were hungry enough to eat, so I'm eating right now in the car. Yeah, no, literally, like too anxious to eat. And then everything came crashing down. Too anxious to work. Yeah, so we talked to some other. Wait, can these ads even be in the? I'll lower the volume. Okay, so we talked to some fellow vendors, chatted them up. And like, yeah, everybody said this was like just a bit below good. Like the vibes, like they're trying their best, but I think the logistics of like the 2 artist alleys they're like too far apart. So I didn't mention how there were 2 artist alleys, one outdoor, one indoor.
separated by basically the entire hotel in between, and it was just a really crazy pain to try to find the outdoor artist alley, which led a lot of people to feel like the traffic wasn't as good as indoor.
Oh no! It's whatever. Well, they were like too far apart, and then like the vibes, I feel like because it was a bit dead the first day, the vibes were it was giving tired vibes. It was giving sleepy town. I don't know how else to describe
in their
it.
pajamas.
No, yeah, literally. Yeah, and like, okay, sales wise, I made my table back, which is good, but it's not that much. So I'm worried about how we're gonna do for the rest of the weekend, but stay tuned and find out. Alright guys, I'm here with my day 2 helper. I can blur your face out if you want. Wait, she reppin', she reppin' my guys. She's a real yaoi fan. This is our outfit. I didn't show her outfits yesterday, but it's getting something. And we stopped by for a drink.
We pull up again, and I'm a bit scared to be outside again because I did not mention the fact that my entire setup fell down the first day. I was so embarrassed because I did not have it properly secured, and it was just so windy that I was the target of the homophobic wind. What can I say? But luck was on my side because out of nowhere the event organizers said that there was a spot that opened up indoor. So I was fortunate enough to move inside and in a spot that was really close, well, basically right next to the door. It was pretty interesting to see the difference firsthand between outdoor and indoor because obviously inside it felt much more like a real convention, and it was right next to the voice actors and the panels that were going on. So I definitely felt more connected to everything that was happening, and I was hoping that would reflect in sales as well.
Okay, updates. We lost. We sold out of Shadow. To be fair, I only had like 4 on stock, and they were very popular. I also had to add in all of these OC things because people kept coming up and being like, wow, I really like these characters, but I don't know who the fuck they are, so I needed them to be labeled because I think people are more inclined to buy things when it's listed as your OC. So yeah. Alright guys, it's about to be the end of day 2. Recap. It's much better than yesterday. There's like so many more people, and after being moved to the indoor, oh yeah, my difference between like indoor and outdoor, well, it's so different. Not only are the vibes better, but like the traffic is better, and the vibes are better. The people are so nice. Like all the vendors we went up to are like so friendly, and I don't know, it's because like outside is like cold and windy, but people kind of have like RBF, and nobody's like complimenting each other. I don't know, low energy, but like everybody's still like, not to deter on anybody's character, everybody's still very sweet, but yeah, just a different energy vibe. Also, yeah, I finally ran into people who like the new season, so and I got like a random interview occasion happened. Also, wait, I wanted like all the thoughts are being scrambled together, but there was like a VTuber in their little go-kart thingy. Go-kart? I don't know how to describe it. It's like you know the screen thing and it's like moving? Yeah, it's moving. They raced against somebody in a wheelchair and it was really cute. Like right in front of our stall. Oh, I also met so many really sweet people. I'll put their socials here. So many fellow like webtoon creators. So yeah, it was very fun. Such a better experience coming here yesterday. Yesterday I was like, okay, I'm like, this is it. Maybe I'm cooked for real and I need to get a real job. But like, maybe there's hope. Okay, closing in.
So I also realized I should probably draw more yaoi at the yaoi convention, so I locked in and drew the Alba X Noise art. And I also saw this really cool cosplayer, and he was really nice. So I stayed up a little late to finish the Alba print even though I need to get up early, and by no surprises, it sells out immediately. So I guess the power of Yaoi Jesus is still alive and well in the Big 26. I also decided to open up commissions on the final day. I saw quite a few other artists doing this, so I wanted to give it a try. And like I said, we just keep winning here, don't we?
Day 3, we are getting so many commissions. I started opening them up. They look like this. I had it for $20 originally, and then too many people came. I was like, oh, like raise your prices. So it's $30 now. And then I also had a really sweet interaction with the fans. So we're starting day 3 really well.
The 3 days of pain, anxiety, and misery finally came to a climactic end. No, all jokes aside, it was pretty chill. I was able to meet so many kind people and other webtoon artists as well, which was really interesting. And to end the day, we got sushi and some more boba because we have an addiction. So it's finally time for the best part of the video. Did I actually flop or did I make a profit? But before we get into that, I do want to say that tabling isn't for everybody, and I have an immense amount of privilege to stay at my parents' house, so that financial burden isn't on my shoulders, and I can take a risk of paying for a larger manufacturing fee, which is usually a lot, especially when you're starting out. So with that in mind, here are the stats. I broke it down between production fees, of course, and then every single item. And then I also had a difference between the profit and the weighted profit. And how I calculated the weighted profit is that per each item sold, I calculated the cost to make that one, and then minused it from the total, as well as the table fee, processing fee, things like that, so that I could get an idea of how much I actually made, because of course there are a lot of leftover products in the end, because some things I could also sell at later events, but of course that isn't really viable for a day-to-day basis. So if we look at the total profit, I made around $173, which isn't the best, but it's not the worst, right? Obviously I made my table fees back and most of the production, which is pretty good for what I was expecting, but at the same time I knew this was really not that great if I were to make this my career. But that doesn't mean all my efforts were wasted, because I was able to gain a lot of knowledge of what actually sells. So of course the fan art did the best, and I think it would have sold more if I had more stock available, specifically the Alba and Noise print. And it makes sense given the demographic. Of course, at a more all-encompassing event, things like a hardcore 2012 yaoi franchise won't be as popular as within the queer convention sphere. But I was pretty surprised that the Genshin charms were hit or miss, especially since Varka's banner had just ended. I thought his print would sell at least, but I don't think I sold any, besides like a trade. So it kind of shows that there are many unseen variables that can't be accounted for. But my original art actually did okay, and I think this was helped by all the fans that came and bought basically every single OC thing that I had, which was really sweet. But besides that, I think the average person wasn't that interested, especially since it was hard at first to tell that my artwork was OC and not just like a random fandom. Another thing to note is that on the last day, basically all my profit was from commissions, which gave me a mixed feeling because it did show that people were interested in my style, but not necessarily enough to like buy one of my prints. So, and it also takes a lot of energy to draw. It's not something that I would do every single day if I were tabling. But all things said, I genuinely had a really great time at the event, and for all the little hiccups, it was run with a lot of care from staff. I think the biggest issue was definitely the outdoor artist alley placement and how hard the signs were to follow, but the staff tried really hard to direct people the following days, so it was a bit more even. I also think smaller conventions like this have a really good appeal because they're much cozier than things like AX per se, and you have the chance to really talk to other like weebs and make connections. There's no really big rush for events and panels either. And it made me really nostalgic to see so many people connecting over anime and things like this. Like, it felt as if when you go to a convention, there are no expectations placed on you and you can just exist as you are, which is something I really enjoy. So, though I didn't really do the best at Niji Fest, it was still worth it, and I honestly hope that we just keep going up from here. But anyway, thank you to everybody who sticked around till the end, and hopefully you learned something, or maybe it was interesting. Shout out to all my lovely Patreons who help support me and my webcomic as well. I hope to see you guys in the next video. Okay, bye.